Story 1. My husband died in a car accident, and that's how I found out we were tens of thousands of dollars in debt. I'm sorry if this post is a bit all over the place. I'm still in shock and trying to process everything that's happened. Just recently, my husband passed away suddenly, and in the weeks since his death, I've discovered things he was hiding from me that are beyond awful. Going through our financial documents, I found several credit cards under his name, my name, and even in our kids' names, every single one maxed out. I also found paperwork for 2 loans from different banks, each for over $20,000. There are also documents showing we haven't paid our mortgage in 4 months, along with tons of other papers I can barely understand. Apparently, his business hadn't been making any real money for over a year. Our savings are completely gone. I also have proof that he was gambling online and lost tens of thousands of dollars. I've been a stay-at-home mom our entire marriage. He ran his own business and handled all our finances. I have absolutely no idea what to do now or how to move forward. I know I need a lawyer, but there's barely any money left, and I don't even know where to start. Are there any free legal services I can reach out to? I tried calling around, but every attorney I spoke with refused to give advice over the phone. Am I legally responsible for paying these debts even though I never gave consent to use my name or my kids' names to open these credit cards? I feel like such an idiot for not noticing any of this sooner. But I'm totally unprepared for this nightmare, and I'm terrified we're going to lose our house and be left in an even worse situation. I never imagined my husband was capable of doing something like this. Please, if anyone has any advice on what I should do next, I would be so grateful. Update 1. First of all, thank you so much to everyone who commented and gave advice. I'm sorry I didn't reply in my first post. I was completely overwhelmed and honestly, I still am. But I read every single comment and message, and I truly appreciate everyone who took the time to respond. I've managed to find legal help, and we're now working through the mess my family is in. It turns out the situation is even worse than I first thought when I wrote my post. The total amount of debt is close to $500,000. Right now, I have no idea how much of that I'll ultimately be responsible for. My lawyer says it could take years to fully resolve everything. We're definitely going to lose the house. I'm trying to find somewhere else to live before the bank officially forecloses so we won't be forcibly evicted and it won't damage my credit any more than it already has. A few things people asked about. I have 3 children, 2 from a previous relationship and 1 younger child with my late husband. I've already applied for benefits for the youngest, thanks to the person who suggested it. My husband ran a computer repair business. He worked alone most of the time, occasionally hiring help for big jobs. For the past year, though, he'd barely worked at all, and the business brought in no income. He was draining our business account to cover personal expenses, then taking out loans to cover the business losses. And he gambled it all away online, plus got involved in some other shady stuff that's now coming to light. Sorry I'm being vague about this, it's very hard and embarrassing to talk about. To those who asked whether the car accident might have been intentional, sadly, the more I find out, the more I think it might have been. No one else was involved. His car veered off the road and hit a tree. He did have life insurance, but he stopped paying the premiums months ago, so it lapsed. I've already contacted the police about the credit cards opened in my name and in the kids' names, and other things that have surfaced. It all feels very bleak right now, but I believe things will get better with time. I've found a few potential job opportunities, and I've been taking on small freelance gigs just so we have some money coming in. I've also applied for SNAP, food stamps, and Medicaid. Once those are approved, they'll help a little. Someone suggested borrowing money from friends and family. Trust me, if they could help, they would, but no one I know is in the financial position to do so. My sister is hopefully going to let us stay with her temporarily while I figure out our next steps and how to rebuild from this. She's my only close family now and has been a huge source of emotional support. That's about it for now. Again, thank you so much to everyone who listened and helped. If anyone has any more advice on how to piece life back together after something like this, I would be very grateful. Update 2. This will probably be my final update, I hope. The good news, it looks like we'll be able to resolve things faster than expected. It's still a mess, but not quite as bad as I feared. I'll likely be filing for bankruptcy early next year. I've discussed this at length with my lawyer, and after weighing all the options, bankruptcy seems like the best path forward. Roughly 99.5% of the debts should be wiped out through the bankruptcy process. It's not easy to accept, but it's good news in the long run. We are losing the house, and we need to be out by November 30th. I'm worried about how the bankruptcy and my credit history will affect renting a new place, but I'm already on the waitlist for housing assistance, and they told me the wait might not be too long. My sister can't host us for more than a week because of her terrible landlord, so I'm urgently looking at other options. I do have a few leads. Honestly, I'm not even that sad about losing the house. It's full of painful memories now, and I think starting fresh somewhere else will be the best thing for my family. The police and my lawyer both assured me that since the accounts opened in my children's names were done illegally, we'll be able to clear their credit histories. It'll take time, but we'll get through that too. My Medicaid and food stamp applications were approved, which is a big help. Next week, I have therapy appointments scheduled for myself and the kids. The social worker I spoke to was incredibly kind and supportive, and she said we have a strong chance of getting housing as soon as something opens up. Finally, following advice from many of you, I posted on a local holiday help board to request some assistance for Christmas gifts for the kids. I'm hopeful we'll get some help there. It would lift a huge weight off my shoulders. Thank you again to everyone who reached out, offered advice, and supported me. I can't even describe how much it's meant to know I'm not alone in this. Final update. Hi everyone, I wanted to post one final update since so many people asked how we're doing. The last few weeks have been a whirlwind. Lots of stress, lots of change, lots of hard work. But despite how hard things still are, I feel more hopeful and more stable than I have in months. The legal stuff is progressing as quickly as possible. We're still planning to file for bankruptcy early next year. It's terrifying, but I truly believe it's the best option, and in the long run it will give us a clean slate. We moved out of the house about a week ago. It was a bittersweet moment. The kids are having a hard time adjusting, but I know they'll get used to it in time. I believe that starting over is the best thing for our family right now. The girls are in therapy, grief counseling, and we've started family sessions as well. I'm also going to start individual therapy soon. Many of you strongly encouraged me to, and I'm finally taking that advice. Now for some good news. We've found permanent housing. We have a wonderful landlord who really understands my situation and is experienced with the housing assistance system. She's doing everything she can to help us navigate the red tape. We're moving into our new place at the end of this month, and I hope it'll be our home for a long while. Second big news, I got a job. I'm now working full-time at an office owned by a woman who reached out to me after my last update. She offered me a chance, and I started last Monday. So far, it's going great. I'm beyond grateful that she took a chance on me. And this brings me to why I wanted to post this last update. When I first posted asking for advice, I didn't know what to expect. I was scared, exhausted, and just needed someone to tell me I wasn't alone. The response I got from this community was incredible. The advice, the personal stories, the words of support, "You saved Christmas for me and my kids," helped me find a new job, and reminded me that there are good people out there who truly care. It was far more than I ever hoped for. We still have a long road ahead, but I truly believe we're going to be okay. So thank you, from the bottom of my heart, to everyone who reached out, offered support, and helped us get through this nightmare. You've saved me a million times over, and I'll never forget it. Wishing you all the happiest holiday season. Story 2. My family always takes my seat when I get up. I got sick of it and started bringing my own chair. My brother-in-law didn't like that, and turned into the Hulk. For as long as I can remember, there's always been one thing that happens at every family gathering. The moment I get up from my seat, someone takes it. Every single time. I don't know if it started as a joke, or if people just thought it was fair game. But it got old fast. When I was a teenager, it got so bad that I bought my own folding chair and started bringing it to family events. Even then, if I left it unattended, someone would immediately sit in it and then act offended when I asked them to move. Last year, for example, I got up for literally 1 minute to help with something, and when I came back, a kid was sitting in my chair. The family jumped down my throat when I asked the kid to move. I explained, if someone brings their own chair, they expect to be able to sit in it. That's the whole point. I have a really nice folding chair, comfortable and compact, and I bring it to family events because there usually aren't enough chairs for everyone. The other day, I went to my nephew's birthday party. As usual, I brought my chair. At one point, I got up to use the bathroom. When I came back, my chair was gone. Everyone pretended they didn't know where it went. I said, "You have 1 minute to give it back, or I'm leaving." They laughed until I started walking toward the door. Then they realized I wasn't kidding. Everyone started saying, "Relax, it's just a joke." I said, "I don't care if you think I'm a buzzkill. I wouldn't have to bring my own chair if you didn't always take my seat. It's not funny. It's never been funny." At that point, my brother-in-law, Bill, brought out my chair from wherever he had hidden it. But one of the legs was bent. I said, "That wasn't like that before. How do you even bend a metal chair?" He said he could fix it. When he tried to bend it back, he made it worse. The leg was seriously warped, and I didn't feel safe sitting in it anymore. I told Bill, "You owe me $50. That's what I paid for this chair 2 years ago." He got mad and said, "It's just a stupid chair." I said, "It's my stupid chair. None of this would have happened if you guys didn't act like children and mess with me for years." Then I took my busted chair and left. Now my family is blowing up my phone saying, "It's just a chair. Get over it." But I still want Bill to pay me back. Am I wrong here? Update 1. After I posted my first story, things escalated fast because I shared the post with my parents and some other family members. At first, they were furious. Some mocked me, saying, "Better be careful what you say around him, or he'll run off to post it online." But once they actually read the comments on my post, they were shocked. BIL eventually agreed to reimburse me for the broken chair. I bought a new one, even better than my old one, and started going to family gatherings again. But the vibe had definitely changed. Some family members looked at me like I had sucked all the fun out of the room. My parents stopped thinking the chair thing was funny, and even yelled at a kid for sitting in my seat when I went to the bathroom. Turns out that kid was my nephew, and my BIL had told him he could take my seat. When my parents found out, they were furious. The house was practically in chaos when I came out of the bathroom. Several family members, including my sister and BIL, were yelling, "It's just a chair. You're making a big deal out of nothing." My parents fired back, "Why are you all so upset that you can't mess with him anymore? Why did this even go on for so long?" At that point, I stepped in and said, "None of this would have happened if you weren't obsessed with harassing me over something so stupid. I started bringing my own chair because there were never enough seats and you always took mine. If you still think you were right, you're just bullies. And what kind of example are you setting for your kid?" That's when BIL lost it. He grabbed my brand new chair and threw it across the room. It hit the living room window. There was a long, awkward silence until he realized what he'd done. Then he stormed out, leaving my sister and nephew behind. My parents told my sister to call him and said they'd call the police if he didn't pay for the broken window. Over the phone, BIL cursed them out. My sister told him straight up, "Fix this or I'm divorcing you." That got through to him. He came back looking totally defeated, apologized to me and my parents, and agreed to pay for the new window. My brother hired a company to replace it. In the meantime, they had to board it up with plywood. Eventually they installed a new bay window, which looked even better than the old one, but I'm sure it wasn't cheap. For a while, some relatives, mainly BIL's parents, my uncle, and a couple cousins, blamed me. They called me difficult for insisting on bringing my own chair. I ended up offering a compromise. I'd leave my chair in my car if they gave me a designated seat that no one would take. It took 2 more family barbecues, but they finally agreed. Since then, I've left my chair in the car unless there weren't enough seats, which has only happened once. But here's the thing, even though they stopped messing with me, they kept teasing each other. It eventually got ridiculous. Other family members started pushing back and saying it needed to stop. That tradition had been going on for decades, and people were sick of it. BIL kept his head down after the incident and stopped causing trouble. Some relatives stopped coming to family events altogether. My mom was really upset about that because she loves hosting holidays. It took a few months, but things eventually calmed down. Though when the chair pranks ended, new dumb pranks started. Someone rigged a whoopee cushion to my cousin's chair. The cousin got revenge by eating an entire bag of fiber bars and eggs beforehand, and you can guess the rest. Other pranks included hiding silverware, stink bombs, tearing paper when someone bent down, drink pranks, hiding shoes, matching outfits, hanging a container of styrofoam beads over a doorway. And finally, the prank that ended it all, a glitter bomb at my aunt and uncle's house. It ruined their carpet and required professional cleaning. After that, they billed the person responsible and all the pranks stopped. Everyone was done. Honestly, I'm fine with that. The last few family gatherings have been a bit dull, but honestly, I think people got so used to constant pranks that they're struggling to come up with new ways to have fun. Edit, my chair is a National Public Seating brand steel folding chair. I bought it online for about $80. The seat is vinyl with thick foam padding, super comfortable. Update 2. My chair was stolen. And somehow, I'm back with another wild update. I never thought this chair saga would go this far, but here we are. First off, my good folding chair, the one I paid $80 plus for, was stolen. Not at a family event, while I was visiting a friend. Someone literally walked into his backyard and took it. No clue who. Lesson learned, I'm not buying expensive chairs anymore. I now keep a $3 folding chair from a thrift store in my car. As for other family updates, the chair pranks mostly stopped, but harmless pranks slowly came back. No one messes with me anymore, but that didn't stop some bold moves. At one recent gathering, my cousin's 7-year-old son stole my phone and broke it on purpose so he wouldn't have to give it back. The kid's parents were already having relationship issues. My cousin constantly fought with his wife about how she spoiled their son. She was one of the biggest complainers about me bringing my chair, though she never confronted me directly. She once told me, "If you're going to bring your own chair, it should at least be a nice wooden one, not a folding chair." I said, "I'm not hauling a dining chair around when a folding one fits in my trunk." That was the end of that. At the gathering, I set my phone down while eating cake. The kid snatched it and locked himself in an old closet. The door had a lost key, so he refused to come out. His mom kept saying, "Just let him play, he'll give it back." I refused. "It's not a toy." Multiple people told the kid to open the door, he wouldn't. His mom kept arguing with everyone. Finally, my cousin got so mad he broke down the door. We heard a loud crash, the kid was smashing my phone against everything inside. My cousin dragged him out kicking and screaming. My phone was wrecked, screen almost destroyed. Thankfully, the case saved the body of the phone. The cousin's wife tried to blame me, saying it was my fault for not letting her kid play with it. Everyone immediately shut her down. The repair cost $300, my cousin paid for it. Then the family, knowing how much she hated my folding chairs, decided to prank her. Without telling me, they replaced all the furniture in her house with folding chairs. Everywhere. Dining table, kitchen, living room, porch. When she got home, she lost her mind way worse than anyone expected. The plan was just to record her freak out and laugh, but she grabbed a knife and tried to go after her husband. When she failed, she grabbed pepper spray and sprayed everyone in the room. Then she attacked her husband with her nails. It was chaos. The cops were called. She was arrested. The guys all had to go to the hospital for pepper spray exposure, and my cousin had deep scratches all over his face. He looked like a wild animal attacked him. My cousin immediately filed for divorce and got a restraining order. There was video of her grabbing the knife and threatening people. Later, she went to jail again after pleading guilty to assault. The court gave my cousin full custody of their son. She's allowed only supervised visits because of her instability. Now, she barely sees her kid. She's living with some old rich guy, tanning excessively, bleaching her hair, covered in designer junk and makeup. Her son is doing much better, he goes to therapy and listens to his dad now. I still feel a bit guilty. If I hadn't started bringing my chair, none of this might have happened. But this all spiraled way beyond me. Edit, forgot one important detail. The cousin's wife was obsessed with expensive furniture she couldn't afford. Their house was full of tacky fake Victorian furniture. That's probably why she snapped so badly when it was all replaced with folding chairs. I also learned my lesson and finally put a lock screen on my phone after this mess. That's the end of the saga.